Jeff Snyder here at the Kia Telluride Supper Suite here in Park City. And guys, this is the main event for me. About 6 or 7 years ago, I read Lost Girls by Robert Kolker. It's an incredible true story, and these women here did an incredible job bringing that to the big screen. This is my favorite film of the festival. We have director Liz Garbus, Amy Ryan, Lola Kirke, Miriam, Shor, and Oona Laurence. Thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you.
Liz, let's start with you. How and when did you first get involved with this project?
Well, thanks for saying that. We appreciate that a lot. I was sent a script called Lost Girls, and I read it, and it's centered, as you know, Bob's book, Lost Girls, tells the story of 5 families who have lost a daughter, and there are various struggles over the course of about 10 different years of trying to find them and get the authorities to help locate these girls, to no avail. What Michael Worry, who wrote the script, did pretty brilliantly was he found the story of Mary Gilbert and made it kind of the spine of our narrative and her journey. Her daughter Shannon Gilbert went missing one night. She was the last girl, as far as we know, to go missing in terms of this string of crimes, and she raised some hell and got the police to start looking, but of course it was too late. And in doing so, a group of women came together, represented in different ways by the folks who are here, to also get justice for their loved ones. And it's that story, and it's a story of Mary Gilbert also as a mother. Forgiving herself.
When I was a kid, my mom always used to say, if anything ever happened, if you ever went missing, I would go to the ends of the earth to find you. And you know, Amy, Mary Gilbert does that, I feel like. You know, what attracted you to this role?
So many things attracted me to this role. I was sent a script called Lost Girls, and I was able to meet the director, Liz Garbus, over coffee in our shared Brooklyn neighborhood, and we hit it off really quickly. But for me, quite frankly, it was playing a protagonist in a film. I don't get to do that often, and not only wasn't just to do that, but it was so well written, and she's such a powerful character. When she was ignored, and she just got louder. She used her voice. They didn't hear it. She got louder, and it was very moving woman. So I'm eager to play it.
Can you guys talk about, you know, playing the family members of these missing women and you know what they go through? Did you talk to any of the actual family members to get some insight as to, you know, the emotions that they were experiencing?
I did not get to talk to any of the actual characters or the real people that are pictured in the movie, but I thought Robert Kolker's book was so vivid, and those characters are so rich, and so between the script and that and whatever available videos were online, I was able to kind of craft some hybrid character of who I thought Kimberly is.
Yeah, it's really difficult when you're portraying someone who's real. You so want to honor who they are. I also didn't get to meet Lorraine, who I played, but I'm a mom, and understanding the difficulties that she faced just living her life, just being a person in the world is hard enough, and then to be so summarily dismissed and ignored as someone who's trying to find their daughter. I mean, that journey was so painful and vivid to me that, you know, I could only hope that I honored her memory, you know, in some way by kind of going with what I had. I think that's kind of what actors always do. You kind of take a leap, just hope that you get it right.
I obviously couldn't meet up with Sarah because she's in jail, but I think I just really had to place myself in the character, and because she's more of like an observer throughout this entire thing. Like she's very young, and she's in the dark with most of the information about her sister. She doesn't really know where her sister is, and she doesn't really know what her sister does either. Like, so it's I think it was difficult to portray her, but also I could imagine the kind of thought process that she had to go through. Yeah.
Well, just having the source material too of that book. If you could have that for every movie you ever do, it's just it's
like,
so.
Like, should we create a backstory? We don't have to.
Yeah, no,
like,
it's so vividly
chapter
written and so meticulous, so well written.
Liz, can you talk about this film's approach to the media? Because the media sort of casts these women as prostitutes, and rather instead of wife, daughter, mother, and the film really, I thought, did a great job of taking that on. Can you sort of talk about that element of it?
Well, I think we took it on because Mary Gilbert took it on, and the family members took it on. I mean, it's insult upon injury, right? That your loved one goes missing. They are so much more than a prostitute. They're human beings with lives and loves and brothers and sisters, and to have them reduced to this one thing, which is something that a lot of people will think as diminishing them as a human being, is just, it's salt on a very, very open wound. So Mary was really furious about that. And I think over the course of time, newspaper reports actually did get better in how they were referring to these young women. But still, just recently I saw an article about the case that said 10 dead prostitutes, instead of 10 dead human beings. And it's just a way to make them not important to look for. Yeah.
And Amy, how excited were you? How important was it to you that this project had a female director to give it a feminine perspective?
Well, it's thrilling. In 32 years, I went to the list, like IMDb. It's like in 32 years of working, I've only worked with 7 female directors. And
this year, right?
And the last 3 were 3 women back to back.
Late Night was fantastic. By the way.
and Worth with Sarah Colangelo, and it's it's not only just having a female director and female point of view, but that there were not just one female part in the film, but like many, and some of our other castmates couldn't be here today, but there's so many dynamic female, complex roles in this, so it felt like something brand new, like they're reinventing cinema, and it's wonderful.
There are ladies here.
There are ladies, and we also have men too, and they're wonderful. But we have ladies, and it's I don't know. It's nice to be represented, and it's women can do it. It's not a surprise.
Is this anyone's first Sundance? Yeah. Well, so what's the experience been like for you so far, Oona?
It's been great. I don't know. This is only my second day, so this is the first press day.
Right.
But
Big premiere's when? Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's great. It's like a whirlwind. It's so overwhelming, but so cool. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, so were you here last year for Big Time Adolescence, or I guess not?
Wasn't. I had finals, so I could not come. But I would have loved to, though.
Are we going to see that finally this year on Hulu?
I hope so.
Okay.
I don't know too much about what that process is, but I hope so, because I haven't seen it either. So, yeah.
How did finals go, though?
They went well.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Lola, you had worked with Greta Gerwig, Noah Baumbach on Mistress America. I'm curious, are you rooting for either of them at the Oscars?
No comment.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
I love both of their movies. I feel like I should really say that. I think they're both incredible, and I think that they both make movies with excellent reference to incredible films of the past. So I'm just happy they're keeping really real cinema alive.
And Liz, this is your first narrative feature, as I understand it. What made you want to take the leap from documentary filmmaking to narrative with this particular project and come out of the gate with this?
Well, I'd actually always been interested in narrative filmmaking when I was making films in school. I did both, and then I started working as a documentarian, and I had a lot of really wonderful opportunities, and I pursued them. I also had other projects, scripted projects, that I tried to mount. They were always on very tough subjects, and I wasn't successful back then. But when I got this script, Lost Girls, I was like, this is it. I'm not going to give up or get distracted, because, when you're mounting an independent film, it's you. You just have to carry that boulder up the hill. And if you get distracted, or another film comes along, they can very easily get derailed. But this one, I was like, no. And and it was a journey. And I'm glad to be here.
And, Amy, can you talk a little bit more about the character's journey and how she didn't have maybe the greatest relationship with her daughter, and there's feelings of guilt there, and like Liz said, that she has to forgive herself.
Yeah, I mean, Mary Gilbert had an extremely hard life. She's a single parent. She worked a few jobs. She made really hard decisions on some of her parenting choices, which I'm sure at the time she believed was her best choice. And what I love how the film, as she is in this search for her daughter, as Liz said before, about trying to forgive herself, like in some ways, the drive is to make things right, and also forgiveness for the guilt of where she believes she was a horrible mother. Miriam and I, we're moms, and we talk about every day there's something like, oh, I missed
so many opportunities to fail.
Oh man, oh God, why did I say that? Or you just like try to raise these young human beings into stellar people, but it's hard. You do your best, and Mary was doing her best. I having not met her, but understanding her circumstance that she was living in and the obstacles she faced, she was doing her best.
Well, you did a wonderful job with the role. You really sank your teeth into it. I could feel the anger of Marie Gilbert. Miriam, I wanted to ask you, because you did another Netflix movie, right? You just wrapped George Clooney's new movie?
Well, I didn't. It's still shooting.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah,
and I play a mother and wife in that one too, and a set of also. I don't know that I'm actually allowed to talk about it, but another very emotional circumstances as well.
Netflix actually gave us permission. You can tell us what
thanks,
it's about.
Netflix. Yeah. So just being, asked to portray a person who's far from her husband at a time when she needs to protect her kids from the worst thing. Well, I'm not sure because there's a working title, so I'm not sure if we know.
Oh, okay.
But it's based on a book called George Clooney.
It was
Netflix
Good Morning Midnight.
Good old GC. No, Good Morning Midnight is a book written by this young woman, and it is a fantastic. It's so infuriating that she's so good at such a young age, and he's took it on, and he's acting in it too, as well as directing. Which, as an actor who occasionally has directed as well, was a little jaw dropping for me watching that process. But I just wanted to say one thing about there's a line that Amy has in this movie where he's like, don't take this on yourself, right? And you say, I'm her mother, it's all on me. I feel like that is true as how you feel as a mother. It's also true societally that it is put on the mother. All of the failures of like anybody they find the mother and they sort of put it on there. So I feel like this movie really deals with that in such a personal way.
Before we get to our fun rapid-fire supercut questions, I have to ask about Gabriel Byrne and working with him. How did you settle on him, and so casting him and then working with him on the shoot?
Gabriel was fantastic. We were so happy when he joined the team. He infuses the character with so much humanity and complexity. And, the Dormer role he plays the police commissioner who really bungles this case, whether it's because of just negligence or corruption. We really don't know. And what I think Gabriel did so brilliantly was walk the line for different interpretations to arise from it. He just infuses it with so much humanity. And Amy and Gabriel have worked together, so that was like a really nice base to work from.
What was it, In Treatment? Was that it?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
And he's just he's so thoughtful about the script, and we spent a lot of time together. He would, really analyze and kind of take apart surgically every line, and he just, he helped make the movie better.
Well, it is a true accomplishment. You should all be very proud. Thank you for coming in. Please, if you're at Sundance on Tuesday, make sure to check out the premiere of Lost Girls. Thank you to the Kia Telluride Supper Suite for hosting us. Thanks for coming in, guys, really. Congratulations.
Thank you.